The Bank for International Settlements is warning of the risk of a new global credit crash. Its annual report, released a short while ago in Switzerland, says banks are still fragile and may not be able to refinance their debt. Joining me with more details is economics correspondent Stephen Long. Stephen, how sombre is this assessment by the central bank for central banks?
They paint it blackly. They say that the financial disruptions that we've seen so far this year highlight the fragility of the financial system, and that basically any shock will see a replay, or could see a replay, of the events of late 2008, 2009, i.e. the global credit crash. Only this time we have no room to manoeuvre, with central banks setting interest rates at zero and with their balance sheets bloated, plus the fiscal positions of advanced governments already unsustainable. So we would be in a vastly worse position than we were 3 years ago, with not much we could do if we had another emergency.
So what are they saying we should do then?
What they're saying we should do, which might sound paradoxical, is pretty much what the G20 was saying we should do, and that's fiscal consolidation, governments cutting back on debt, and they say that central banks should be lifting interest rates so that we have some kind of cushion if worst comes to worst, and that keeping rates at zero is very, very dangerous. They point out that it actually was one of the precursors to that global financial crash and the recession that we had, and they really put the heat on central banks to do something about it.
Would that lifting of interest rates affect Australia, given that our rates are already higher than many economies around the world?
Well, it shows that we are in a far better position, because we are in a position to cut rates if worse comes to worse. What they do say, though, is that global banks and European banks are in a bad position, and that there is a lot of undisclosed debt, and also with so much debt that they actually have to refinance in the next 3 years, 60% of their long-term debt. They're going to be competing with governments, and they raise serious doubts about whether they can do it. Thank goodness we're in Australia.
If these measures by this central bank are adopted, what would be the short-term effects of that?
The short-term effects clearly would be a hit to growth. And already Europe is looking like it's going to fall back into recession. And so this is a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't, but you've got to do something, because there will be short-term pain if governments cut stimulus and central banks put up interest rates, as the BIS suggests.
Stephen Long, thank you. See you on Friday.
Look forward to it.